All right.
Oh, welcome to week 4 of North American Striker Training Grounds, and we start off with a kill from Flowers, playing Luna here as the sub for Groundhog, and they're playing against Pudad and Sons, who just picked up the first win last week, but they are on a tear now with a 14-second first point here coming in from Groundhog, as Groundhog actually was 2-0 and they lost their first week, so this is two teams kind of trying to see who will get a nice spot for playoffs. Pudad and Sons definitely do not want to be 1-3, and obviously Groundhog wants to become another 3-1 team in Nasty here. And right now it looks like it is all Groundhog as they get the first barrier once again, and Pudad's Atlas here trying to stave off the offense as long as possible, and they answer back now with the Zentaro coming in, getting top barrier themselves. But yeah, so the pressure has been on for Pudad and Sons, despite it being a start here that might benefit them, and Flowers just knocks off Zentaro once again off the cliff, and this Jakar shotgun holding it in place while Luna kind of comes up and follows up has been amazing, and Jewish Asian unfortunately has to concede that lower barrier with the strike shot, and we see the Jakar kind of covering the angles that Pudad might want to clear, and with a flip, a decisive 2-0 here for Groundhog.
Yeah, well, for one thing, I'm here too. Don't forget that. This is P Flair on the mic as well with Pado. And yeah, quick 2-0 starting off for none other than Groundhog Day. Gotta admit, these two definitely they both have some serious reasons to want to fight. And with that is a perfect example of how willing they both are to basically try and push ahead and try and either get into like the winning side of ways, or to basically keep more of their streak going. So what do you think is going to have to be done for Pudad and Sons to be able to kind of pull this one away from Groundhog Day?
Well, I'll say it. I think Pudad and Sons have a really nice comp. Pudad's Atlas, obviously, I think it's one of the characters that I associate Pudad with the most, and it gives a little bit more sustain, a little bit more healing, and can just expanse block stuff like that when Flowers and Jakar just want to kind of push in there. But unfortunately, it really hasn't been working. But if they want to win this game, they really need to get this Luna off. They really get the Jakar off and really take the first set and start scaling off of Awakenings, get more stagger in them, and whatever they can. So, and on the opposing side, right, Groundhog Day also wants to snowball as much as they can so they can kind of continue piling on the damage, make sure the Zentaro is never around to do things, and survive here. Because especially as Flowers is, and the Jakar right now is kind of stacking up here. There we go, the Zentaro with the special, knocking off, making it a power play for Pudad and Sons. Unfortunately, Pudad does miss the strike shot, though, kind of pausing the offense, but there we go with the wonderful redirect from Wolfmane, getting the score 2-1, and Pudad and Sons trying to follow up here on this ever-important first set.
Yeah, very, very, already kind of like a tough first set for Pudad and Sons, just trying to, keep themselves alive for it and try and like get what you said, very important first set, try and get these awakenings going so that they can kind of shut down this very nasty potential that Groundhog Day have for like all this offensive capability. You can see already, yeah, Zach Crater Maker did some serious damage, but they did get both barriers off of that push. So, not all bad. They're going to have to find a way to keep themselves alive, though. And that's going to be a whole lot harder as the match goes on, especially if they're getting dinged like that. Beautiful, beautiful rocket from Flowers, and there goes Zentaro, which has kind of been like a cornerstone of their offensive setup, right?
Yeah, so yeah, Wolfang really wants to be there to make sure the Vinny can't just knock the core out of Cliff's hands, but that's exactly why Flowers and Jewish Asian have been kind of pressuring Wolfmane so that he can't do his job, and we see how good the Atlas pick can be here from Pudash, making sure the Zentaro can survive, and now it's Flowers who is low and has to kind of be on the back foot a little bit with the flip from Cliff, but unfortunately the angle was a little too far. Jewish Agent is able to just get it, and yeah, and now is the Zentaro on the offense, but just combined with the snipe, the Molten Blast from the Jakar into the special from Luna, just nukes Aimee out of orbit. And now Jakar with that missile pro pickup, I mean, it's a starting awakening, and it definitely just scales him a lot stronger than most other characters in the lobby right now for round 1. And so yeah, we're gonna have to see Spinks really maneuver that Jakar and give Groundhog Day some first set value here. And another Luna nuke coming in from the skies, unfortunately, does not lead to a goal, and makes Atlas use his special though. And look at that, all healed up again is the Aimee. And now we're seeing Wolfmane trying to use his special, trying to shove it in past Affinity, but Jewish Asian is just holding like a king here. And Atlas expands coming out to thwart the core flip from a very dangerous angle. And now it's all damage once again, as we have no evade Luna and low Jakar, and the core slips through with power of pudad as well as Wolfmane.
A very, very tense point for both sides yet again. Kind of saw how difficult it was for pudad and Sons to fight this massive, you know, like damage output that these two are doing. Look at already, pudad is nearly dead. Pudad is dead, pardon me, goalie down. So yeah, that's definitely, you can definitely see like a difference in game plan. And what it really comes down to, like you said, is that pudad and Sons just have to kind of like survive this onslaught that Groundhog Day can give. If they do not do that, it is wraps. And unfortunately for pudad and Sons, it is Groundhog Day that takes the set, and they get a chance to scale and start tacking on the damage. That Deadeye, there is no way in hell that Deadeye is going through all the way to Luna. I mean, even just to be safe, I think Zentaro can use it if absolutely necessary. Although, you know, like that explosive interest is going to be good too. It's going to be, do you think it's going to go in?
I think it might go to the Luna. You see Finny opening it up. Zentaro wants to take explosive entrance. He does not want to take Deadeye. And Atlas denying the speed, and Finny takes the creator away from Aimee. And yeah, so we're left with kind of have to spark it up for the Aimee. But I think definitely the notable pick here was the Deadeye for the Luna here, as Luna has both her Bis at the same time. It's just set 2 here, and already Luna has Missile Pro Deadeye in addition to Pummeler. So this is a really scary Flowers coming out. And as long as Spinks and Flowers can continue this pressure, continue to pile on this pressure, we're going to have a really good time for Groundhog Day. But yeah, there we go. Off the field, this clip goes, and now we're seeing Groundhog Day with an open net, but putting on all the pressure with this power play. pudad is holding like a hero, but Luna trying to thwart him. The ball goes around Black Hole once again, and now a double defense coming out from Jewish Asian. And Spinks, as they look to get the, but the nuke kind of greased, unfortunately, the barrier. Unfortunately, it happens sometimes with the Luna. Jewish Agent mind gaming with his big finish, unfortunately, does not lead to anything. But Luna is holding the offense really nicely. Wolfmane wants to finish Flowers off, but has to retreat to kind of make sure the tempo doesn't go over completely, as the barrier for pudad and Sons do open now. And Cliff rotating it around, Cliff at the top side trying to make sure to get there. Wolfmane uses the flip to no avail. The misdirection actually knocks Zentaro out of the nuke range, so that was a little bit lucky there for Wolfmane. And now we see Spinks getting a nasty angle, Flowers getting a nasty angle around pudad. He was too slow to stop it. He had no strike shot up. So 1-0, momentum looks to be on the side of Groundhog Day.
Yeah, definitely worrisome. Like, don't get me wrong, the stacks on pudad will help a little bit with the, you know, being able to move around faster. But yeah, just Deadeye missile prop Luna, those rockets are murder, and you can see how that is almost like completely changing the game by itself. Like, God help them if Luna, like, if they do go up for this next one, for this next set, which is looking likely. God help them if it gets like a twin drive, because that would just be horrible. Because like one of the things that Luna is kind of like iffy to is that when she does have damage, she does have to like retreat, but she can just like boost right back in. She's not out of it for as long as others. And Jewish Asian reminding people that, like, hey, I got some pain too for you. So good gracious, this is becoming a bullet hell very fast.
Yeah, Flowers coming into sub 4 spring rolls, and she's making a real big impact on this, as Groundhog Day take a quick second set over pudad and Sons here. As we go into the draft, we're gonna see a lot of critical things coming out here that can potentially impact the game.
Yeah, aerial, super sharp. A lot of this is very pick your poison for this Groundhog Day team. They can get anything. Adrenaline Rush, yeah. Also, Flowers, she been making big KOs, so I don't even blame her for going for like just Adrenaline Rush and just be able to launch even more stuff. Soon as one kill happens, it is party time now. And
Yeah.
especially with that, like, Spark of Focus, not only just decent, but it also kind of denies Cliff from, like, kind of trying to spark up the team. So has to take aerials. Not exactly a bad take, let's be real. But in general, this is just a very worrisome Groundhog Day team that's coming out now. And so, like, everybody's got to worry about that Luna now. Like, she's just kind of like a roaming, horrible target of destruction. Also, sad boys.
Yeah, it's a really scary situation. It's a very unfortunate situation as well for Pudad and Sons because Zentaro was kind of taking Orb Replicator here, not necessarily because he might have wanted to, but because he really wants to survive here. He already took extra special. He already took EE already, Explosive Entrance, so he couldn't take Super Surge or anything. And like Flowers continues to pile on the pressure here, and the damage shows no signs of stopping. There was no Big Fish in the thing. There was no Reptile Remedy, and Pudad and Sons can't really answer for damage yet, and they have to really hold on because if they lose this, it's over. The first match is over just like that.
Yeah, for real. Like that is it. And like, don't get me wrong, Atlas, yes, he can heal, but he can only heal, like for so long and so often. So pretty much you can see that like Wolfman had to kind of like dodge not just the Crater Maker, he had to dodge the rocket, and that tells you like just how absolutely scary that Flowers is right now. Not to say that the others are any less dangerous at this point, but anything that's coming out of Flowers is so scary. You basically kind of have to treat it as, again, like that evasion text that's usually reserved for like the Crater Maker. You got to pay that for the rocket now. They got no energy to do anything because they're trying not to die, and they're still dying. So it's like, how do you resolve that?
I mean, Pudad's eking out every value he can with the Atlas special. You can see Aimee just heal up to full health when Cliff was just so low. But even so, this combination of the Black Hole with the Shrinkar, Blast and Luna Nukes are just really impressive, and Wolfmane just has to kind of play DDR in the bottom left corner there as he tries to not die. Zentaro turns to Aimee with the shotgun. Unfortunately, it was on cooldown, so Cliff got to live. An unfortunate late reaction from Pudad on the core flip himself, so now open net for Groundhog Day to kind of capitalize on in here, and great redirect coming in from Spinks as Zentaro goes off the field again. He had no evade, he used everything he could, he's doing everything right, but there's just a limit to what you can do here, and it's a really scary moment. Once again, Groundhog Day just triple teaming this with the big finish. It was almost there. Unfortunately, Jewish Agent does mistime it with the Drakkar strike, but yeah, with the seemingly unlimited number of power plays that they have, Groundhog Day can take a lot of time to really set up their plays. Flowers does have to fall back a little bit there and maybe a little bit greedy, but no matter because Spinks has a wonderful redirect off of the Expanse into a shotgun into the top corner of the net, and it's already match point here for Groundhog Day.
Like how to control this team, or Flowers can quite literally afford to take like these risky biscuit plays just because they're so far ahead and there's so much damage that's coming out of this whole team that she can kind of like go for the gusto, and if it happens, then hey, they got some time to they got a little bit of room to play with their food. It's not the best, like obviously it's never the recommended choice of action. Nice flip take on the flip there, but the fact that they can do that and still be in good shape is just a sign of how things have been working out for them. Again, gotta like evade so many things, and not for too long at this point because yeah, got killed, but you can see like again, Spinks took the barrier and they're still in a very precarious position, especially now that Flowers is like right back into it.
Yeah, Flowers is back with cooldowns. I mean, good thing from Pudad and Sons is that they are still showing, like, they're definitely haven't given up yet, right? They're not thinking about the next game. They're focusing on how to win this game, and that's a big play there, making sure that they still alive in this game, and that's how they're gonna get back in the game, with Wolfman kind of being able to stay alive, get the kills, turn the table on their heads, but yeah, I mean, definitely, like you said, Flowers was taking some more risky plays there because they are in a dominant position. They can afford to take those risks and taking the top barrier just like that, and now they're pushing out Cliff, rotating core through the Black Hole, but now Wolfmane trying to get it through. It's a little bit hard, especially with Sphinx that has energy. It's going to be kind of scary. And it's going to be really, really important because they want to make sure that they live not just for match point, because a lot of the stagger awakenings haven't come out yet. So things might still go around if they win, because bulk up this year, and if Centauro gets Reptile Remedy or something like that, like, he can scale very, very hard. And Centauro already does a ton of damage. They've been doing a lot of damage. They've just been too busy dying themselves to really kill confirm here. So Pudash making sure he uses his flip to get the core out. They're fighting for his life on the bottom barrier, especially with Cliff. Unfortunately, the barrier does fall here, and now a setup. Flem Flowers blocked by Wolfmane, just throwing his body in the way to make sure the core does not get to Pudad. Pudad needs to live. Pudad needs to conserve his cooldowns for the most important moments. Wolfmane rotating it around. Jewish Agent is a tough clear, but he does have his flip. He uses it. A nasty angle coming out, hitting the demon angle perfectly, and Pudad was not able to get there. The expanse was not big, was not able to get there in time, and that's a 3-0 victory on the first game from Groundhog.
That was a crazy way to end it. Like, the demonist of angles pretty much skated along the edge there to go in, but go in it did, and now they have, like I said, clean 3-0, and they are 1-0.
I mean, double-digit KOs from Flowers here, but we definitely got to talk about the Drakkar as well, right? Sphinx just controlling the midfield. I mean, if you look at the redirect numbers, he has 178 redirects compared to, you know, the rest of the lobby. Honestly, only other person kind of matching it is Pudash. Yeah, so props to Sphinx for really holding it down, locking stuff in, making sure that Luna can get the kills off. And yeah, they tried their best, but that was a lot of damage just stacked on top of each other, making it difficult for Pudad and Suns to get their defense set up.
They're going to have to definitely take that in mind for the next game. I would not be horribly surprised to see them ban out the Luna next game if possible. I mean, but in general, that was just that was rough road for Pudad and Suns. So they've got to really just calm it down and think about, okay, things definitely did not go as planned, but that does not mean, you know, like, obviously they're not invincible. We just need to figure out what we need to focus on and do better on, like, just zeroing in on that win condition if possible. Because unfortunately, they kind of got, like, Groundhog Day got what they wanted basically from draft, basically from, you know, like, opening awakening, and it was just the pain started and it never stopped. Like, they didn't get it, like you said, they didn't get any defensive drafts, they didn't get any stagger, nothing of that. So that was basically like the ideal game rather for Groundhog Day. So hopefully this next one won't be quite like that.
And we are live with game 2 between Groundhog Day and Pudad and Suns. This match is really important for both teams if they want to get into playoffs. Can Groundhog Day end it here, go home with a 2-0 this week, or can Pudad and Suns make it tight, make it competitive on a 1-1 situation? So we're off to a start with Cliff on the Juno with a 1-2 punch, and Pudash and Wolfmane both taking Twin Drive here, as opposed to Jewish Asian and Sphinx both taking Twin Drive, and Flowers on the Pummeler's 1-2 VYCE. And Flowers has had a lot of KOs in the last game, and we'll see if she can make the same happen again, because they are certainly playing for damage as Groundhog Day.
Yeah, for sure. But I do feel that Pudash has a bit better of an answer this time, in particular because of the Juno pick on Cliff. Just, that's a lot of mines for VYCE to be wading through. And, you know, like, VYCE can't teleport all the time. So, got to either, like, set that up in advance or just prepare for it. And they do manage to get, like, a kill, kind of like a bit of a vengeance for earlier. But it is, I feel, going to be just like a little bit closer, especially considering this is night market. And you can see that with the different team compositions for both sides, things are not going to be quite as straightforward for obtaining the damage and those kills for either team, really.
Yeah, I mean, Cliff's 1-2 punch coming in really nice. Yeah, with the mine slowing VYCE down, making sure she has to kind of eat damage, as well as the Juno Blobos just redirecting it around Jewish Asian here. But unfortunately, Pudash does go off the field here as Flowers got powers, and Sphinx just making a crazy angle into the goal in a goalieless net. And Groundhog Day continues momentum.
Yeah, that was That was one, but I do feel like that one was a bit more well fought than previous games. So it is going to be something to see if they can kind of like keep that up and try and push back. Almost took the barrier. There we go. One on each side, taking opposites though. So the question really here is going to be, can pudad, you know, kind of like survive this kind of like offensive setup, or can they manage to like pull something out offensively themselves? Can pudad, I mean.
Yeah, Wolfman looking for an aggressive pick off the Sphinx, but unfortunately he did miss. Jewish Agent got him in the cage, and now he is the one having to hug the corners, just making sure that Flowers can't end them. And a nice Tofu Fortress from pudad, making sure that the core is controlled. And Cliff, yeah, the Juno pick coming in really clutch, and Wolfman gets to kill Flowers finally. Revenge after all those years. Jewish Agent with a clutch flip here though, making sure he is holding it down like crazy in the Night Market Gate. And Contested Cliff rotating around, making sure Jewish Agent's players are covered, but Jewish Agent wins the Strike Force anyway. Wolfman unable to find that final bit of the puzzle. And now with the Mako Cage coming up, with the Flowers teleporting in there, pudad has to make crazy saves. But the flip is in, goes around Jewish Asian, and it's a 1-1. A lot more competitive, a lot more life from pudad and Sons here on the second game.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to try and like keep that up. They are ahead as well in the energy department. Cliff got a flip ready on deck. pudad not one too far behind. There goes that first flip. They do get the barriers out of it, and pudad, nice little save there on a bit of a rebound as they take it. Very fast supernova from Flowers to secure the kill. They get the one barrier off of that. So they're gonna definitely want to try and like push this, because like you said, this has been a lot more competitive, and pudad and Sons have been able to make like a lot more sustained offensive pushes. So they're going to have to try and like find any kind of way to short circuit those as efficiently as possible, especially because when pudad, they do get any kind of offensive push, pudad can like push up and provide like support with those logs and with that Tofu Fortress to try and make sure that they do have, as I said earlier, that sustained offense that can lead to these goals.
Yeah, so far Groundhog Day has been putting up a really stellar defense with both barriers down, and Wolfman trying to break Jewish Agent's ankles, but Sphinx is always there to back him up. And look at that, 2 sequences where Sphinx was instrumental in the defense for Groundhog Day here, as Jewish Agent makes some really wild saves to get it around, and even gets the great angle into the flip, waits out the slimes, and now Flowers does have energy. She can use a flip here, aggressively uses Supernova first instead, gets the Night Market Barrier, dashing in with the teleport, now uses the flip. Unfortunately, the angle was a little easy for pudad to Tofu Fortress off, but Flowers still is playing at the forefront at line number 1, playing almost a brawler position here with the VYCE. Jewish Agent contesting Wolfman's strike and wins, and now Flowers looking to get it past pudad. Sphinx looking to get it past pudad. The skills are coming up, the primaries are layered, but once again, a great defense with Jewish Agent and Sphinx, making sure Wolfman can't break any ankles, just making sure Sphinx is covering whatever Jewish Agent can't cover. But Wolfman has a flip, he's walking up, preemptively using Cage, but the Cage misses. But you had the desired effect regardless, as the core is once again back in red team position. And now Supernova, wonderful dash from pudad, alleviating that pressure for pudad and Sons, letting Wolfman come in once again with the energy, with the speed, uses the flip, unfortunately was not able to get it off, but now the special might be the key. No, it's not, but Sphinx very low, has to play around the minefield, has to play around Wolfman. Jewish Agent misses a strike shot, and that's all it takes. Wolfman will not let that mistake go by, and pudad and Sons finally take a lead, 2-1.
Yeah, crazy passing plays coming out from both sides, honestly. Trying to, at this point, like, you saw like the game plan kind of shifted from pure damage to we just need to get it around these people. We needed to get it around Cliff. We need to get it around pudad, and it wasn't working out. And Cliff immediately dies for it, and suddenly Groundhog Day in a much better position. Cage comes out. They trying to snipe it past. No sale, unfortunately. But Flip says, you will buy it, you will like it, and they very quickly tie it up. But you can see that I think their Groundhog Day kind of got intimidated by them being able to survive so long, and so tried to switch game plans, and they were like, this isn't working out, let's just go back to what we knew. So, I mean, that's just my guess at least, or maybe they just, you know, got fortunate in their positioning. But honestly, in general, just like very good hold, very good defensive posturing from this team, although that was a little bit eager, that early flip. So, yeah, if pudad and Sons can basically psych out Groundhog Day into abandoning ship on their initial game plan and basically trying to play their game. That's what I think. That's how I think Pudad and Sons win this, by convincing Groundhog Day that you're not going to win your game. You have to outplay us at our game, and then proving you still can't outplay us at our game.
Yeah, I mean, Flowers is doing a great job making sure that Pudad and Sons, every member is punished for kind of standing too near the corner, and they really want to control, they really want to force Pudad and Sons to take worse positionings in terms of core control so that they can survive there. And Sphinx, even with the secondary of Wolfang, was a little bit too close to the edge. He might have just gone bye-bye. And yeah, Flowers with the very crazy supernova snipes, like, it doesn't need to be fully charged, it just needs to be at the right place at the right time, and Flowers is putting on a masterful display of VYCE, just playing both core control and damage at the same time. And that was a crazy angle from Cliff. Unfortunately, Jewish Agent is positioned there, and another supernova. Yeah, just setting it up for herself at the perfect time, buying time for Sphinx to kind of set up as well in the midfield. Can't get too aggressive though, because Sphinx is low, credits to Cliff and Wolfmang. But Chain Lightning, Flowers has it. Seems like she's figured it out on how to make sure the Groundhog offense comes and gets the point, because Wolfmang and Cliff are railing on Jewish Asian and Sphinx over and over again, but they're both getting cleared by the members of Groundhog Day, as opposed to Flowers, who is making these offenses work against Pudash. And there we go, a clear, but a nice secondary placement from Sphinx, just sniping the core in, and another set lead from Groundhog Day here.
Yeah, a lot harder fought, but very well fought on the side of Flowers, proving that, like, look, you don't always need to, you know, go into like a 5-minute solo. Sometimes you just need 3 chords, you know what I'm saying? So being able to figure out, like, okay, now's the time, and just hit a big ass power chord with that supernova. Yeah, very well deserved. Adrenaline Rush is going to make that very scary. Pudad and Sons really need to watch themselves at the corners and now on the edges now, because nothing on the side of Groundhog Day is going to, like, let that go now. Like, with the aerials as well, ad rush aerials and, like, fight or flight, that is just going to be scary moments. And you can see already Wolfmang had to evade there to avoid another supernova snipe as one of the barriers goes down for them, and already looking like very low in very dire straits. And this is kind of what Groundhog Day really wants, even though they are on the defense at this moment. But they do absolutely have the potential to kind of, like, even this up very quickly.
Yeah, Flowers looking to use the secondary to great effect, but Pudash was wise to it. Somersaults in, stunning Flowers, stymieing the offense here. And Cliff taking Casta last year, his slimes are a really good line of defense against the VYCE skills, and we might see it because even if Cliff dies, his slimes are still going to be there. And now this is Wolfmang without evade, using his super surge dashes, but he might go off the cliff soon if he continues to play aggressively without any evades. He does have energy now though, but and Sphinx and Flowers looking to kill Wolfmang once again. That might turn. Wolfmang has to use his evade preemptively. He wants to control the core, get it around the Mako. He wants to find any angles, sneaks the orb from around Sphinx's watchful eyes, and trying to dash in Jewish Asian with some crazy clears, and Sphinx there to back him up as well. And that you see that Ariel's Estelle power finally coming into play, trying to snipe. Pudash does block it, but Wolfmang is off the market now, and it's a power play once again for Groundhog Day here, as Flowers is just running around with Ad Rush and Pump speed boost. And she can just reposition so easily with her secondary up. You can see using that secondary, Pudash trying to clear, but Flowers is already there and gets the lower barrier here. And once again, Wolfmang Cliff trying to make that offense happen, but Sphinx is there in between. Slime redirects happen, but Jewish Agent eats the slime first and then redirects the core. Just perfect defense from Jewish Agent coming out. Smartly waiting out Sphinx's beam, and now that might go out into an unfortunate angle. Wolfmang gets the shot. And a 1-0 lead now from Pudad and Sons on the second set.
Very impressive patience. Just knew the snipe was coming and just paused long enough to bait it out and just hit it at a position that just could not clear. And you can see that, yeah, Flowers has been doing some amazing positioning and some amazing timing. Like, Flowers is on demon time right now. It is absurd what she's pulling out of the gate here. But that's not to say Wolfmang is not, like, fighting their heart out right now, trying to get these offensive pushes to last, and if they can, and early flip, but Sphinx does manage to help clean it up, feeds it to Flowers, and they do get a quick tie. So props to them for that, but this is just a very, very dangerous situation, and you can kind of see, like, it's that mental chess game that's going on where it's like, I figured out, no, I figured out, you're figuring out. So now it's like, can Pudad and Sons try to figure out the counteract to this, like, offensive setup? And that's another flip burned, like, inadvertently by Sphinx. So the question is, like, yeah, like I said, can Pudad and Sons kind of, like, figure out the solution here before this gets out of control?
Yeah, so it's looking really difficult here because Pudad is holding really well, even though, you know, the two forwards on the other Groundhog Day are just stacking primaries on primaries. But unfortunately, like, the control coming out from Sphinx in the midfield is kind of crazy, and Jewish Agent uses the flip, and Wolfgang just gets caught in the crossfire here and goes off the field. Once again, it's another power play, and every time this happens, every time Groundhog Day uses their energy is to get some kind of value. Last time they did it was with a bear, this time it's to get Wolfgang down, and now Flowers has another aggressive TP set up, and is just playing with Sphinx. And Pudad and Sons just kind of have to stack up to make this defense happen. And Cliff trying to get the Flavo in position in time, unfortunately, was not able to happen. And this Mako exerting such pressure with her primary, making sure the core stays up all the time. And Flowers is low. She has a base. She can just pop Supernova and weather out the storm. This might be it for her. Nope. And Wolfgang has to either compromise the offense or the defense, because Flowers is just making sure that even when she's low, she provides value to the team here, as there's just no easy way to finish off this wounded VYCE, and back against full health is Flowers here. Pudash finally getting up past midfield, using the Token Fortress aggressively, but Jewish Agent holds even that. Jewish Agent and Sphinx just crazy defense coming out. Wolfgang strike wars perfectly, but needs another little push to get the barrier open, but this might be it for Pudad and Sons. If they can't get it under control, this could be the second set, and Pudash waiting out everything very smartly here, uses the log to great effect, and Flip and Pudash are holding, but now energy economy is in favor of Groundhog Day. Flowers, Supernova not quite close enough. Sphinx uses a flip, using the beam, but the core was a little too far, so Pudash could recover for that, but very good play from Sphinx. Now Wolfmane trying to break Jewish Agent's ankles a little bit more, but Jewish Agent just making sure his abilities can be used for these defensive situations like that. Jewish has just so much open space right now with his ability cooldowns that he just has everything at the right place at the right time. But now he did use everything, but he has strike shot up once again. Jewish Asian making some crazy holds here. Now Flowers almost with the energy. Wolfmane has flipped though. They want to get to Wolfmane. Wolfmane unfortunately was not able to get it off here. Pudash wonderful somersault into Flowers. Flowers uses the energy as well, so it's a strike war situation. Wolfmane gets it in. 2-2 now. Pudad and Sons, they can make a comeback potentially here on Night Market.
They can. It has been an absolute struggle, I feel, for Pudash and Sons to kind of like break this defense and kind of like set up the plays. They are managing it though, so like don't say they can't. Like they got those two barriers down very fast. This might go in. Yeah, that was kind of a weird quick one. I feel like Jewish Asian lost the two barriers very fast, and he kind of like sets to. I'm not gonna say Jewish Asian kind of like gave up, but I am kind of wondering what happened there when that was like very. That wasn't. I don't think that necessitated a flip.
Team player for Pudash. This is going to help a lot in getting the core around. This strike war, hot shot on Estelle is going to be really good with the core speed, and you can see Jewish Agent kind of holding on to the picks, making sure that VYCE can get what she wants. Taking Reptile Remedy, I think this is going to be a nice deny as well. And Zentar Wolfmane taking stacks on stacks is pretty big. I feel, because if he can survive, they've been really winning through these core rotations, and it's going to help a lot. 150 stacks of pancakes, that's a lot of speed you can get.
Yeah, but like you said, that's if Wolfmane survives, which is certainly not implausible. Wolfmane has been making some heavily like survival situations, and that is actually Sphinx going down. That's the first power play, I believe, this entire series on the side of Pudash and Sons. So things may be turning around for them. Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely. I think it's the first time I've seen Sphinx die in this game for sure. And now, unfortunately, he does come back but now Pudad and Sons have an open net to work with. So they're going to try and rotate it around, especially with the 1-2 punch Juno. Again, this is going to be really, really scary, but Flowers just perfect chain lightning. Once again, getting the lower barrier down. Jewish Agent holding again, using the flip, waiting out Wolfwing's dash. And now Spinks is back here and back on the offense, trying to make stuff happen on the midfield. Yeah, shoots, pudad gets around, and Flowers there with the teleport, just ready. Trusting in Spinks to really make the plays here, and the supernova hitting the demon angle. Pudad leaps for it, but the somersault not quite there. And yeah, the momentum that Pudad and Sons had is getting halted a little now by Groundhog Day, because they take the first point here.
Yeah, incredible like timing and play by Flowers, by Spinks. Very nice hold. So yeah, a little bit of a concern here now. First barrier goes down. Second barrier comes centimeters from going down. And Pudad has a flip ready to go. Flowers might have one. There it is. So those could come in very handy. Never mind, that's that first flip. Wow, wild angle does get around Pudad, excuse me. So yeah, again, it's back to that chess game. They need to fit. Now it's Groundhog Day that kind of needs to figure out how to solve the problem of Pudad and Sons being able to like hold and maneuver around and cause a lot more damage than they have been. So like they need to figure out the solution on their end now.
Yeah, I mean, Cliff keeping Spinks on his toes. Spinks is going to recover from this now, for the time being at least. And Wolfwing, yeah, coming in with the Slice and Dice, unfortunately does not get meaningful damage onto Spinks, but does get a barrier off of that. So now both teams have an open net they have to work with. And Flowers and Spinks making sure they're double lower laning here, and Pudad wants to rotate it around, waiting out Flowers' teleport, making sure that she has to commit to it before making a decision. But oh my goodness, just the general rotation in Night Market, it can be so rough sometimes because Flowers just gets around Pudad. And yeah, it's a Pauldron's dupe, but it's a little slow, unfortunately, and Pudad couldn't get to it.
Yeah, just like a very nice shot up to the top corner, and Dubu's a big hamster, but he's also a slow hamster, so they didn't have a whole lot of recourse at that point. Their best answer right now, they just got to kind of like find a way to rally back, answer back, and trying to get on the board here.
Yeah, and I think it might be like Cliff's Blobos that make the plays, because that was some great rotations through the Blobo redirects. But again, Flowers just kind of walking in, winning the Strike War, getting the barrier. Cliff dashes in, Spinks is wise to it, and immediately reacts. Just kind of matadors the Juno out of the picture. And Flowers wins another Strike War against Pudad. This is dangerous. And when Wolfmane dashes in to kill Flowers, Flowers just supernovas and tanks everything, and Spinks flips and gets the goal. It's another 2-1. Groundhog Day gets ahead once again.
That was a beautiful time. You saw, like, they both saw that coming almost. I saw the vision as it was happening. As soon as Flowers revved up that supernova, it was Spinks like immediately going down. It was like, oh, I got you. I know exactly what's about to happen. Because at that point, they were either going to get hit and stun, and then he would flip and shoot, or they would have to dodge and flip and shoot. So yeah, I mean, being able to pull that off, great.
Some core key awakenings coming out. Prime time on the Estelle is going to be really scary. Juno taking extra special. This is good. The nice device also helps kind of slow the core down when the supernova comes out. So that might be really good. But explosive entrance from Flowers is going to make her damage a lot more potent, especially because she's been so good on the Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
So this could be. This is the set. This is the set that Groundhog Day could take it all, but. We've been seeing some good adjustments from Pudad and Sons in the mid set, so hopefully they can keep this game competitive. As Spinks, even though he is low, spends his secondary to make sure that they keep the offense going. But Flowers just finds Pudad in the middle of the fear, and there it goes again. Jewish Agent finding the kill, and now it's 3-1 here. And poor Wolfmane, he's just a Zentaro. He's just a little Oni boy, and the core goes in. This 1-0 Groundhog Day, no signs of slowing down. This is going to be a very tough game. It's a very uphill climb here for Pudad and Sons to turn back.
That is not how you wanted to start set 3. Like, got the supernova, got the snipe. He's just an innocent boy. I mean, not that innocent, he's in Taro, but still just a boy. So you've got to imagine that Groundhog Day feeling good about that one. Flip goes out. They do manage to stop it, but this is already this is dire straits for Pudad and Sons. And nice dribble there. Yeah, they've got to kind of figure out a solution to this very fast.
Yeah, they can't deny Jewish Agent from just dribbling there, because because Wolfman wants to kill Spinks, but if he wants to kill Spinks, he can't pressure Jewish Asian. And so that's the kind of defense we're seeing here from Groundhog Day. And Flowers just using the flip, get the lower barrier, and that could have been a 2-0 right there. And it is Flowers linking the thread, and now it's 2-0. It's match point for Groundhog Day.
That was insane. Caught the bounce like off the center line, and just shot it in. And quick warp, quick thunderstruck, and barriers traded. And this could be it. This could be 2 and out. This could be game point, set point, series point. So it is on Pudad and Sons. They've got, if there is anything left in the tank, they've got to spend it now.
I mean, Jewish Agent absolutely crazy save. Pudad making the clutch saves too, buying time for his team to knock Spinks off the field. And this might be the power play they're being hoping for, because they have Blobos for days now. And finally, Wolfman uses his flip, and Groundhog, they hold. They hold, and Spinks is back. They did send the flip, and the barrier's down, and Flowers goes down now, and this might be it. Cliff is coming up with an energy. Spinks does not kill Cliff, and Cliff trying to make it work, trying to go around, and Pudad, nice somersault, blocks it. Pace slow down a little bit, and Jewish Agent grabs it, but unfortunately Cliff is there. And signs of life, Pudad and Sons, they can do it. They can hold on for another point.
Yep, there is still a heartbeat there left. But it's still a bit of a road for them. So we're gonna have to see if they can push this out. So very, very hoping to see what Pudad and Sons can do when their backs are against the wall like they are now.
Yeah, Cliff actually survived that last point with his energy intact, and he used that core flip to get the first barrier for Pudad and Sons, and they need to capitalize on this advantage somehow, and Cliff's defensive slimes are really good, and Wolfman just wants to keep it up in time for Cliff to kind of get that Night Market Gate and speed up and get to him. Unfortunately, Spinks and Flowers are really tight on the defense as well, and it's once again Spinks with the flip. Flowers not as much on sync there, unfortunately misses the pass, but yeah, with the stun gets Cliff off the field, and now it's once again the power plays that Groundhog they are so used to doing. The supernova might have been deadly, but had to end it a little soon. Spinks playing a dangerous game with Pudash, but Pudash throws the somersault, unfortunately misses the core, hits Spinks, and Spinks is off. But I would say that's well worth it for Groundhog Day as they join the club of 3-1s here on week 4.
Just amazing play from Groundhog Day. Absolutely, like, hyper dangerous, like very aggressive. I mean, they had 2 players who could basically just warp around the field and set up without being able to, like, be followed immediately. It was basically on Pudad and Sons to try and anticipate these movements, and sometimes it just wasn't there. It wasn't able to be there. Flowers with those absolutely insane, like, supernova snipes or supernova like plants, just having to make you run for cover whenever she starts jamming out. So just very good play there. And Pudad and Sons, there were signs of life. They did take a set, and in general they were able to, like, find a little bit of success here and there, but just not enough to overcome this offense that Groundhog Day actually managed. It's just very nice play from them.
I mean, we saw Pudad and Sons try to adjust, take feedback on what went wrong on the first set, but yeah, unfortunately, it was too little to stop the bleeding. But yeah, a lot of good adjustments coming in. Cliff with the Juno and showing a lot more stability on the defense as well. But unfortunately, yeah, it wasn't their day today. And Groundhog Day goes on to be 3-1 in Nasty.
Congratulations to them, and we still have more to go. So don't go anywhere. Cool.
That is right. That was a very quick game.